Happy Monday, everyone. Hopefully you all are ready for an exciting brand new week. This week is very interesting because we're going to have a lot of data coming out, government data, that can very well shape the market. Not to mention, we're probably going to be getting a lot better clarity about what is going to be happening in the Middle East. Over the weekend, there were some attacks once again. And it's really shaking a lot of people's nerves. So I do want to talk about that for a little bit. Want to be talking about the government data that's coming out this week that's very important. I also want to go over the where pretty much the market sees rate hikes or rate cuts potentially. And then I also want to go over a stock that honestly I really should have probably bought more of. And really go over my public profile dedicated to this YouTube channel a little bit. If I don't have time, though, then that's going to be in tomorrow's video. I want to keep this video under 17 minutes. Hopefully, I can do it. I tend to ramble on here, but there's so much to cover. If you enjoy my content and want to see more, smash the like button, subscribe for more. Videos on this YouTube channel is Monday through Friday. Thursday is my birthday, and I'm going on a little mini getaway, traveling for a little bit, turning 38 years old. So there will be no video posted this Thursday, along with Friday, and sometimes I drop a bonus video on Saturday. So I'm gonna be back probably Tuesday of next week. Going to be getting home probably late evening of Monday of next week. So, yeah, if you do enjoy my content, I apologize, but I gotta go on vacation, man. Maybe I'll post a video in like a hotel room and stuff, but I really just want to kind of enjoy myself. Birthday, weekend, getaway, little mini vacation. So, next week though, we're going to be hitting the ground running once again because the stock market never gets old. Okay, firstly and foremost, today. So, we have a drawdown very much happening in SpaceX. My video that I posted a few days ago was honestly talking about when I would potentially be buying SpaceX. I pretty much talked how, one, the evaluation is very rich for SpaceX, but it's a Elon Musk company. Therefore, it trades at a high premium. However, I can go ahead and tell you right now that even though SpaceX is down from its all-time high by, let's see. How much are we down from our all-time high? I'm on the 5-minute time frame here. Where are you? Little price range chart. From our all-time high, we are down by 34% to the downside. Actually, did I do this wrong? I think I actually just did this entirely wrong, but it comes out, actually, no, it comes out differently. All-time high, we were down 25%. So even being down 25% from the all-time high, it is still not attractive for me and many other retail investors or even retail traders out there. In my opinion, if you were to trade this, you would have done so primarily like last week. Definitely when it started to really bounce from its highs and stuff. But you got to understand that SpaceX, it is a multi-trillion-dollar company. And if it is going to go down by 10%, give or take, it was actually down by 10% here. It is 10:41 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if SpaceX is going to go down by 10%, keep it simple. Let's say it's a $2 billion company. Well, the market's going to lose $200 billion, okay? Right now, the market cap, wow. The market cap on SpaceX currently is $2.2 trillion, okay? So if SpaceX is going to go down by 10%, you're talking over $200 billion. The money is going to be sucked out of the market. Just because the money is leaving a company, don't automatically assume that the $200 billion is going to be going into other stocks. For all you know, the vast majority, the $200 billion that's theoretically lost, It could be going into treasury bonds. It could just be sitting on the sideline. So, when a big company does go down, it could potentially drag down the entire market. Imagine if Nvidia were to go down by 10%. You're talking Nvidia, the world's largest company, is currently at 5.15 T. If that company were to go down, if Nvidia were to go down by 10%, you would feel it in the market. So if you are relatively new to the stock market, 2022, I got into the market during 2020. But 2020, 21, I really didn't know any, all of this stuff. Not to mention, I was also very much working a very different job. So I was just primarily just investing money. I didn't really pay attention to anything. I was just buying like the COVID down stocks. 2022, I started really getting into all the psychology and fundamental analysis, technical analysis. And at first, I really didn't understand it. I'm like, hey, if the world's largest company, or if maybe a handful of the big companies out there go down, does it really cause the market to go down? And the answer is yes. So there's a lot of fears right now around SpaceX, because a lot of people are really looking at it as saying like, hey, if we have such a high value company very much going to be like theoretically losing its value, is there any stability in this market? So firstly and foremost, we're definitely seeing on risk on assets today very much red, primarily because of SpaceX, in my opinion. SpaceX, it is a risk on company right now. A lot of people may argue against that. I actually had a little, I want to say enjoyable conversation with a friend of mine, but it kind of turned into a little heated because we see a little differently on this subject. I view SpaceX as a risk-on company right now, believe it or not, and the reason being is because of the evaluation. It's very risky. Even though in the next decade or decades, it could be a $20 trillion company like Musk is floating around. But right now, it is very risky. And it's also very meme, very like pumpy based, okay? So firstly and foremost, SpaceX being down almost 10% right now, it's definitely causing a lot of red among risk on assets. The Middle East bullcrap that is pretty much happening, that is very much, I'll go ahead and put this video down below in the description. Pretty much good stuff is being posted on our end, but on the opposing side, it's not really there. So the US is posting stuff saying, hey, this peace deal is moving on forward. However, the Iran side and other nations, it's especially Israel, Lebanon, Hezbollah, hopefully I don't butcher any of these words. There's a lot of issues there. A lot of issues. So it's like we're getting told something, but actions are very much different. But here's the thing about it. So the thing about it, primarily, is if you look at oil, it's a very good indicator, because last night at 8 p.m., I was actually watching oil, and I'm like, okay, oil was actually up by a couple percent last night. Yeah, oil was actually up by a couple percent last night, and right now it's actually very much down on the 5-minute time frame here. So June, oh boy, the 22nd, 04. We're basically pretty much seeing Sunday last night, it was up $77. Now we're definitely trending down, which is good. That's bullish. But we're not seeing a nosedive down. Okay, we're not really seeing this heavy nosedive down like we should. We're being told from the U.S. side of things, Secretary Rubio, Vice President Vance, even President Trump has really stated that it's going to take quite a bit of time for all these commercial vessels to go through the Strait of Hormuz and really get oil and leave. And then that's going to drive oil to very much the pre-Iran war start, which was very much $66 a barrel. And then we really got to get down below 60. Now, going to economical data for this week, it's very important, okay? And ironically, economical data for this week is actually coming out primarily on my birthday, June 25th. No video is going to be posted, but I am actually going to be paying attention to this. So PCE, very, very important, okay? The Federal Reserve, they love PCE, primarily PAL. Now, we have a new Fed governor, Kevin Walsh. Now, the thing about it is that every Fed governor, water cheers, by the way, every Fed governor looks at inflation differently, okay? I remember paying attention, or I started to pay attention to the Federal Reserve 2022 because of inflation pretty much happening. But you could have one Fed governor say, we're going to calculate inflation based on CPI. Another Fed governor can say, we're going to calculate inflation based on PCE. Another Fed governor is going to say, we're going to calculate inflation based on PPI. Or you could have another Fed governor that say, we're just going to look at everything and pretty much do an average. Powell primarily focused on PCE. Powell is no longer the top banana. So therefore, Kevin Walsh could very well say, hey, we're going to primarily look over here. So I'm really interested to see how the market primarily reacts to PCE data. PCE is definitely going to be maybe potentially in line or hot in my personal belief. We're probably not going to see these inflation reports go down until next month, which is going to be the previous month. And it's not really going to be until probably August and September until we really, really see this stuff very much going down. So definitely stay tuned for this. We're also going to be getting a revision in the GDP. Actually, was it this week? No, it was actually not this week. It was last week. I was actually, estimate GDP. I've actually only seen something like this once cause issues, and it was during 2022. Because 2022, we had 2 negative quarters back-to-back of negative GDP. And that's the textbook, definition of a recession. Even though the next quarter, we had positive GDP, but still, 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP, you're in a recession. Are we going into recession? No, definitely not. But sometimes the estimates or the revisions, it could sway the market if it comes in very wonky. So if you're paying attention to government data like me, you got to be looking at every single thing. Now, I want to pull up the Fed rate cut once again. Let's go to here. We are 37 days away. Man, it's gonna be a long 37 days, right? Oh, wow. Wait a second. Did they remove this? Holy nuts. Did they really remove this? The data, estimate, something. Okay, my web browser is either completely messed up or maybe they removed it. I don't really believe they removed it. I think my friggin' internet is having... Yeah, you wanna know what? It's my friggin' internet. Oh, wait. No, never mind. Here it goes. Okay. Holy balls. Look at this. So, the market is just literally scared out of its mind. It really is. The market is so scared out of its mind right now. Yeah, this is pretty much unfortunate, huh? So, there is a 36% chance of a rate hike. Let's go to September. Rate hikes. Let's go to October. Rate hikes. Let's go to December. Hike. Let's go to, yeah, it's rate hike city. So why is the market so scared? It's because Kevin Walsh basically said, hey, we're going to be playing the game of not giving the market what it wants. And what the market wants is forward guidance, because the Federal Reserve has been in the spotlight for the last couple years. That's not how things are supposed to be ran, okay? You can be in a semi-high interest rate environment and you can have growing companies, okay? Maybe they're not going to grow as quickly as like some hyper scaling growth company. You can grow as a company even if interest rates are a little high. How do I know that? Because go back in history and look at the data, okay? Just because interest rates are a little higher than the norm, you got companies like SoFi that are going to be growing. You got companies that are very much spending a tremendous amount of money on CapEx, and they're still growing. Google, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft. I mean, hey, they're spending a lot of money, but they're still growing. So it doesn't make any sense as why the market is pricing in rate hikes when oil is coming down, which is going to pull down inflation. And we literally are just, the market is a temperamental bitch. Okay, that is the simplest way to really say it. And if you are a tough human being and you can look past the bullshit and you can actually value companies and you can say, hey, this company is trading so cheap, I gotta buy it, you're gonna be just fine. Okay, you're gonna be making money hand over fist. Very much stock driven terminology, hand over fist money. So you see companies like SoFi very much down 5%. AMD is just still in the green, which is just utterly just crazy here. Robinhood was actually up a little bit, and I did actually want to talk about Robinhood a little bit here. Obviously, software is getting kicked in the nuts. Why is software getting kicked in the nuts? Because of rate hike fears. That's pretty much about it. I really want to go ahead and save what stock that I kind of wish that I bought more of for tomorrow's video, because I really want to go ahead and wrap up on today's video pretty much here. I think it's a good really span. But I'll go ahead and say this. There is so much fear in the market right now because of uncertainty. The entire market is experiencing a drawdown, okay? If you've been following me for the last several months, let alone if you've been following me for the last 8 months now, you know my philosophy and you know my story on how to make life-changing money in the market. Life-changing money of making hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars of profits. You buy the fear. If you're a long-term investor in a company, you buy the blood, you buy the fear, you pick up discounted shares for the future. If you're a trader, you buy the fear, you buy the blood, you buy the dip, you sell the rip. It's a pretty simple, it's a simple game. And we have the Middle East calming down, which is beautiful. We have oil, which you see on the screen right now, just very much lower than where it was several weeks ago. And we're going to be getting rate hikes. I call bullshit. So definitely stay tuned, because this market is never not interesting. I love the stock market. It never becomes boring. Tomorrow I'll be going over my public profile. I'll be going over a stock that I wish I bought more. And I'll also probably maybe potentially sell some stock tomorrow. Because there are some stocks of mine that I got to go ahead and start chiseling out of, because not every stock is going to be a win-win chicken dinner. All right, later everyone. Love you all. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for tomorrow's video. Bye.